Good morning, guys, and welcome back. So, as I promised today, right, we are starting on the exterior of the car now. We've done everything we can to the motor for now. Now it's time to start buttoning everything up and getting ready for Tuner Evo, right? That is the next biggest show the car is in, outside of the other two that were postponed. So we'll see what happens with that. On today's agenda, what do I want to get done? We got all of it. So I ordered all DownStar hardware to replace the existing hardware that's already on the bay. So I want to kind of run you through what it's gonna, what it's gonna be, and then where we're removing items from. So here, let's take a glance. So every bolt you see around the car is gonna now be replaced, even on the bumper sides. So I'm gonna have to figure out exactly how to do this. This is my first time ever working with anything like this. So we'll see, but like everything in life, right? If you don't know it, you just learn it. So we're gonna start getting some of these guys opened up. The instructions come for a FL5. So the same bolt patterns though, right? Hopefully there's just enough of these screws. I don't know if there's any more between FL5, DE5, whatever. But we went with a very, I don't know if you guys can see this on camera. Let me flip the camera so maybe you guys can see it like this. If you guys can see, yeah, you can see it. I went with a red to match the bay and then a bronze to stick out. So you'll see the bronze like goldish color, and then obviously it'll be within the red. So I don't know, I thought it was a really nice color choice. I kind of wanted to stick with a slightly, I don't want to over red it, but I wanted to put some red in their theme. Eventually we'll get to this valve cover because I honestly don't like it. A lot of people love it. I'm not a fan of it. I want to take off this cover immediately, and hopefully there's some replacement for that. And if you guys know of one, let me know in the comments. But let's get started. I'm gonna put this camera on my side and let's see exactly how we get these guys on here. And then I'll run you through any process or some step that I get messed up on, all right? So DownStar is actually nice enough to provide you with a map of exactly what you're gonna be changing. I guess I can put this in front, right? So this is what we're gonna be swapping out. This is part of their hardware dress-up kit. What I'm gonna do is get the bolts, like the 10 and 12 mil bolts. I'm gonna get those out the way first because those are gonna be the easiest. It's like every time I'm filming, the airplane wants to pass by, guys. Perks of living by the airport, right? We're gonna get the easy ones first, right? So we can go with the strut towers. They even provided the ones for the hood scoop. So we'll get those out, we'll get the hood scoop out, and the way I'm gonna do it, I'm just gonna go one for one. So that way I don't lose anything, one, and then two, that way I know where I'm replacing things at. I'm probably gonna have to crimp something in, and I'm gonna guess that that's on the bumper side. We'll wait till we get there to see what that's gonna have to look like. But in the interim, let's just start working on these guys. Get this buttoned up so that way it looks a bit more presentable, right? The factory ones look like trash. And if we can make it look prettier, get a little more points, right? Some little brownie points at a show, for an award, and just for overall cleanliness, let's do it, right? So the kit looks pretty self-explanatory. I see a lot of people running DownStar. There's some other, companies that do the same thing, but for what we needed, the application, this is gonna work out perfect. I guess I should say as well, this isn't the only thing I'm gonna be installing. There are a couple more things that I'm trying to get in flux. Will they be here in time for the show? Who knows? So last thing I do wanna mention as well is, there's not really numbered in terms of, and this is a lot, guys, right? Like, if I hold this up, they're not really numbered in any manner on the plastic themselves, but on this kind of like hardware layout guide, they label them 1 through 17. So if I counted, or when I did count all the screws, you skip the washers, right? I just counted the screws. There's 17 of these guys all the way down. So I'm gonna start with ones that I don't have to crimp because it looks like I will have to in certain areas. And then when I get to that part, I'll see kind of how I maneuver around that because I gotta find that first, or I'm gonna probably have to go to the store and buy a new one. So let's get what we can done and then we'll just keep going, all right? So you guys, look at when I record another airplane, and the mosquitoes too, Jesus. All right, so I don't know if you guys are running strut bars, but I won't be able to fit the entire kit along where the strut bar resides. So if you wanna look at for just this pattern in itself, it comes with this component, then a washer that sits inside of it flush, and then the nut that goes over. This will not fit over here, obviously. So we'll use it where we can. In other areas, we're just gonna have to go with the nut itself, right? Like these two inner portions. But it's not all that bad because this is red and gold. So, you know, it works. right? Not ideal and not how it's supposed to be, but hey, I'm not gonna mess around with the strut bar. It's too purity, and I am not gonna drill a hole for it to be wider to fit a washer. So we're gonna work with that. I'm gonna go ahead and loosen these guys up now, and then we're gonna move on. Check it out, guys. Just that little slight change makes the world of a difference. So when you look at the bay, look at that. No more of the black little ugly screws. Nah, man. Good job, DownStar. Up next, hood hinges. So I'm following the guide as I showed you, right, on how to count down from them. But I'm starting with all the ones that I know I will go in easy. So I'll get this guy off, and then we'll get the other one off, all right? All I will say that I'm noticing too, guys, is that my engine bay is dirty. So as we go cleaning out bolts, I go cleaning the areas I'm changing. All right, guys, so I wanted to show you what I got done off camera. I didn't want to bore you essentially with me just taking off screws and putting them on. So I kind of walk you through what I've got done so far, and then we'll just keep on going, all right? All right, so I'm sure I already showed this to you guys, but we got up top right on the vent for the hood. We've gotten the screws or the bolts that go into the actual hood itself, right, to hold it on the hinges. So that's the passenger side. And this is the driver's side. We got both strut towers done, right? Obviously the washers didn't fit. Right here and right here, but the washer fit on the very last one on the very top. So that's how it would look with the washer on. We got the fuse box done. So that it comes with the fuse box bolts. Let me see what else I've got on here. I just did the hood hinges, and that was not fun, but that also comes as part of the kit. The intake comes as part of the kit. I'm not sure if it's more meant for like a PRL one though, because on the Eventuri, you don't put anything on this left side. So on the right side though, you only use one screw, which is the bolt that you see right there, right? So that's what it looks like from afar. Last but not least, we've gotten like the actual fuel. So then we've also gotten the fuel line junction cover. That's done. That's part of the kit as well, which I think is pretty cool because it is something that stands out. And then we've got the overflow reservoir. So the overflow reservoir is done, if you guys can see it in the back, right over there. And then right here on the left-hand side, we've got the AC line bracket done, as you can see right here in front of me. So yeah, I mean, we're moving along, but just it takes a little bit of time. The hood, obviously, the hood latch is the one that took me the longest right now, just trying to maneuver your hand in there. I mean, but outside of that, we're trucking along here. I'm trying to get to the next piece to put on the car, so I'm trying to finish this up. I think the area with the bumper where you kind of have to, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, in the comments, but it's like a crimper that you need to use, right, to get, and then on the bumper where you get like the push tabs that you just push down on. I don't have that tool. I asked my dad, he didn't have it here either. So I have to stop at a store. We'll see where I get here, and then if I can stop, I will, just to get it done quick. But that would be kind of like the last ones I'd save for the end. So I'm gonna get as far as I can with actually the bolts with the M5, like the M5 inlet to screw it down, and then we'll see where we get from there. But we're gonna keep trucking along. I'll put you guys on the tripod. Just keep going. We finally got it done. And there's still some that we need to kind of readdress. I'll have to do that when I pick up the proper tool. We did get this in. It looks fantastic. It dresses up the engine bay just a little more, right? It makes it a little more spicy. And I think it makes it pop a little more too, right? Especially, you know, that kind of red theme we have going on here. But I'm gonna show it to you guys in a bit. This is a kit though that I ordered for an FL5. So just that any DE5 owners, it might even just fit on the regular Acura Integra too. I'm sure it does. But I bought the kit for an FL5. We're using it on a DE5. Everything seems to be working out perfect. All right, so I'm gonna show you guys now. And as you can see, everywhere that there's red poking out with some gold, those are all the new bolts, right? And I'll even get in a little closer so you guys can see it. But I mean, if you look at that, this is how nice that looks as opposed to your standard, you know, just 10 mil black bolts, right? I mean, this gives the engine a little more flavor, right? Like we say, se pegó con un poco más sazón, papito. I mean, if you really take a glance at it, you appreciate it more, right, when you're seeing the car up close and you can see the bay. But at least now there's some color in here, and it looks right, which I think is cool. So that's pretty much what it looks like, guys, in case you are wondering. I'll zoom back out here, but that's what it looks like from afar. As you can see, no more black. We'll finish out the last ones. So part of the last ones are right here. See where this bumper assembly's at? There. So that plastic piece, both of those, I have to get kind of like that crimping tool. And since I don't have it, well, guess what? We have to buy it. But I'll get that another day. We can do that on my own downtime. I don't got to show you guys that portion of it. But as you guys can see, it was just a matter of removing 10 mil bolts and then putting on the actual M5 screws. I guess I want to elaborate too, right? That's a mod anybody can do. It isn't necessarily something that's just somebody knows how to work on cars. As you guys can see, it's just a matter of removing old bolts, putting in new hardware, and following, you know, the diagram, how I laid it out when I rolled out the actual each individual pack. That's all the numbering scheme is, right, from 1 to 17. So it was real simple, real easy. It's a little time consuming, right, because you don't want to drop anything. I did drop one in my base somewhere. So it was either gonna melt or it's gonna fly away when I hit the gas on this guy. There's one other aspect I didn't tell you guys. Since my dyno date, yes, it is scheduled. Dyno date's scheduled for August 12th. So we're gonna see how much power this guy gets out. I didn't wanna wait on a Hondata tune just because it started acting a little weird. So what I ended up doing was I ordered the Pherable Stage 2 tune, and now the car is absolutely wild. So I'm somewhere in between that range of 390 to like 405 horsepower wise. We'll know when I get on the dyno, we do that first run, a test, and see where this thing is at. And then we'll, you know, I'll let the tuner do his thing, right? I don't want to get in the way of that. But we are on the Pherable one. So far, so good. Haven't had any hiccups. No lights, no anything. So we cross our fingers, right? Let's make sure it stays that way. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, go look and take it easy, because I'm out.